Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with my Dual Triangle video, and I can already hear the boos and see the tomatoes being thrown. I am going to be on Kewl Toon for this one. Now, Kewl Toon did get some hits in the event, as you probably are well aware of, but they were very, very minimal. Mostly to the limit to rotary, as well as the Crackle being banned, are two of the major hits that we saw for the deck, which obviously aren't enough to stop it from doing its thing 99% of the time. The rotary limit, though, I think is actually more significant than you may realize. It is something I've definitely noticed when comboing with this deck in this event. Now, for this first duel, as you can see, we are going to take the first turn, and I'm sorry that went by really quickly, but my opponent's got, they're on Live Twin Spright. So, no Xyz monsters, because again, this is Dual Triangle, but their hand was Leela Sweet, Spright Red, Spright Jet, Starter, and one other spell I'm blanking on at the moment. Okay, so there is the Kewl Toon field spell. You're gonna let me extra normal summon the Q. We've seen their hand, now we definitely want to make sure we look at the top of their deck here too, as we go to make the remix, and Q is going to activate, revealing Spright Starter and Spright Carrot. So since they already have a copy of Spright Starter in their hand, we're definitely going to banish the Spright Carrot and just leave the Spright Starter on top of their deck. Yeah, I don't really know, well, I do know what's up. I was going to say, with this deck being pretty much fully legal for the Dual Triangle event. I mean, really, a lot of Master Duel events are kind of just there to push the sales of the newest pack, and this one is one of the more blatant examples, with Kewl Toon being so powerful, and again, with so few restrictions. Now here they're going to begin with normal summon Leela Sweet. We definitely want to make sure that we synchro summon using Mix right away, that way we can destroy the Leela Sweet and get it off the field. That way they're not able to special summon Spright monsters from their hand. The Kewl Toon RS will also bump up the level of all my opponent's monsters to 3, which is nice, but here it's going to get negated by the droplet. So this is a misplay that I make all the time. That's activating Kewl Toon Synchro, adding a 3, and then expecting it to tune with Zaylin. It's so easy to forget when you're so used to being able to synchro summon from hand that not every monster in this deck can do it. Even Zaylin. Well, I say even Zaylin, especially Zaylin. So yeah, bit of a misplay on my part. I should have probably kept the Reco on the field and made the RS later, like made back-to-back and then RS, instead of trying to go RS and then back-to-back. But I wanted to negate online ASAP. Now here my opponent is building quite a board, but remember it's the Dual Triangle event, so they don't have access to Gigantic Spright, which is actually going to prove to be a little bit of an issue for them. As they go to activate the Elf, I'm going to use Ghost Bell. They're going to chain Spright Red, sacrificing the blue, and I'm going to Veiler the red. So now they aren't going to get that extra body, and they only have the red plus the Elf. And remember, that Elf cannot be used as link material during the turn it's link summoned. So my opponent really can't extend their board any further. They can activate Gamma Burst and run over my monsters, sure, but I've still got Q and then the field spell for backup, so I'm actually feeling really good about the position we're in right now. Alright, they're going to pass back over to us. Now, they do get to revive with Elf and negate with Red. Very much worth remembering. We're going to extra normal summon the Q. They're going to chain Elf, which I was really grateful for. If they had chained Red to sacrifice the Elf to negate and destroy Q, then I would not have had any more plays. Granted, my opponent also would have kind of been in top deck mode, but they would have had to have seen my hand to know that that's the play they should have made there. No, they want to use Elf to revive Blue to get Jet for follow-up plays, which definitely makes sense. We're going to go for Mix off the Q, search and summon Reco. Now we can go for another RS. And we're going to pop the Spright Blue. Moving to battle phase, we're going to run over the Elf. Unfortunately, we can't battle over the red. Actually, I could have, oh, but JJ Kewl Toon's only from deck, right? You can't do from graveyard? Yeah. If I'd had a Reco, I could have battled over the red. Although, as we can see here, it actually would have made a difference, because my opponent's going to take advantage of the Kewl Toon RS bumping up the level of Joel Knockbird, making it a 2, allowing them to special summon the Jet from hand. So even though it's a 3 on board, it can still be summoned with the now level 2 Joel Knockbird is in play. That'll let them grab a Spright Starter, which they are then going to use to go for Blue. Blue's going to activate here, grabbing another copy of Jet. And they're going to link off Blue plus Jet. Now remember, they're both level 3, so they can't make an Elf, but they're going to make Nightmare Phoenix. They're going to use Nightmare Phoenix to pop the field spell. I don't care about that at all. It's completely fine. And now it looks like they're going to go Nightmare Phoenix plus Troll and Lockbird in order to make the SP Little Knight. Now here they can try to use Little Knight to banish my RS. I'm going to chain the RS effect. And really, it kind of doesn't matter what my opponent does here. Well, actually, no, it totally mattered, right? They were supposed to activate Little Knight on itself and Spright Red. And then Little Knight first effect would have gone through, and then RS would have been banished permanently. But they picked my RS instead, which means now it'll come back during the end phase. Now, if they had done it the other way, I could have normal summoned to Mix next turn, but I think I might even be out of Qs and Recos to add. No, I have Q. I think I have a Q left in deck. So I could have tried to make a remix, but I don't even know how well that would have gone. Either way, very glad my opponent chose to banish my monster with Little Knight, because that one misplay there just completely secured the duel for me. So, alright, yeah, let's go and take a look at our next game. Okay, this time it's going to be a going second duel against Millennium Exodia. Yeah, no, like I was saying earlier, I mean, again, it's pretty obvious why Cool Tune is illegal for this event, and the idea is that Konami wants to push pack sales, which they always do with the events and the latest pack, but this one does feel a lot more blatant than usual, right? Just this whole idea of again, the best deck in the meta also being so legal and the best deck in the event. It is a little bit dull, and, you know, that sounds really hypocritical coming from someone who's using Cool Tune. But at the end of the day, Dual Triangle is also kind of one of those events where I don't feel... I don't know, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I just don't really feel the desire to play in this style of alternate format. Now, I know that alternate formats are one of the main things that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players tend to ask for. By the way, just talking over some insane turn 0 plays against the Millennium deck here. Yeah, I know that alternate formats are one of the things that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players ask for the most. However, at the end of the day, that format's still got to be interesting. And I don't think events where it's like, pick an extra deck type and stick with it, I don't think that's interesting at all. You know, whether it's like an Xyz Cup, or I know we had a Link Cup once, or these dual triangles where you pick a summoning method. At the end of the day, a lot of these events kind of come down to pick whatever deck is meta right now and play it for the event with whatever minor adjustments you have to make. I really prefer formats that actually challenge deck building. NR is always going to be the greatest example of that within Master Duel specific event formats. Limit 1 the first time around was a lot like that. The second time, I think we saw just how much more consistent Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks got. By the way, our opponent's hand is Droll plus the left arm of Exodia, so I know if I banish Shield and leave the head on top, they're gonna Droll me, but then I can just get rid of the Sengenjen, and then they'll only have Exodia limbs for the rest of the game. But yeah, I don't know. I just really would like to see more event formats that completely upend, you know, how you build decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis. Hopefully we see Genesis format in Master Duel, not just for an event, but like maybe even as an alternate rank ladder. I think that would be really cool to have a separate rank ladder for Genesis specifically. Anyway, yeah, like I said, my opponent's just on a couple of Exodia limbs here, and with only 2 out of the 5 and no other cards, there's really nothing else they can do at this point. So it's a pretty solid win for us after some, again, pretty insane and in-depth turn 0 plays from us against the Millennium player there. But still got a couple more games. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, here's an opponent who's playing Memento for the Dual Triangle event, which, yeah, if you think about it, totally makes sense. Memento's only got fusion monsters for its extra deck, and you can still play Super Poly, which is a great board breaker in this format, especially against the deck, well, that I'm playing. We're going to go first. We're going to throw out the Fuwalos. We are going to pass because we would have done that with this hand anyway. Actually, maybe not. We could have gone Activate Rotary, extra normal summon Ghost Spell, and then Ghost Spell plus Rotary into Track Maker. Would have been really solid, but again, our opponent threw out a Fuwalos, and we have a Fuwalos of our own, as well as, of course, the Bell, the Veiler, and a Clip. So I figure if we draw any more Cool Tune monsters off the Fuwalos, we can synchro with the Clip. And as a result, I thought that passing was just the best play here. Alright, they're going to go with the Tatsunoto Shigo. Going to try to activate its effect. We're going to use the effect veiler on that. I know that this is one of the best choke points to stop Memento's combo line, so definitely want to throw out the veiler here. Now they still have a triple tactics talent. They're going to look at my hand, so we're going to chain the Fuwalos now. That way they can't just shuffle it back. And I don't really care if they put any of these back in particular. Looks like they're going to target the Ghost Bell here. Well, not target, but you know what I mean. Memento and Mace coming up next. They're going to add the Fusion from deck to hand, which they'll then subsequently activate, fusing the Tatsunoto Shigo, Mace, and Gaddock from hand into the Creation King. Now, excellent top deck from the Fuwalos here is a Psyframe Gear Gamma. We're going to fire that off right away to negate and destroy the Creation King, stopping them from setting up their graveyard. They will still get to use the graveyard effect to add the field spell from deck to hand, but now they only have that plus one other card left, and that's completely fine with me. Here I'm going to special summon Clip, and my opponent's going to concede before I can make the rest of my plays, which was to activate Clip's effect, tuning with the Gamma to make Trackmaker, and then Trackmaker would add Q, and with that plus Rotary, we have starter plus extender follow-up for the follow-up turn there. So also makes use of the Gamma before it banishes itself at the end of the turn, and the Clip as well. So even though we only drew one card off the Fuwalos, it was the exact one card that completely shut out this duel no problem. One of many reasons why I love Psyframe Gear Gamma. Yes, I know Driver is annoying to open, but I think the benefits of being able to play Gamma hugely outweigh the cons of opening Driver sometimes. Okay, I think we have time for one more game. Let's finish off with that. And this last duel will be a going second game against Hero. Obviously, would expect to see Hero a fair bit in the dual triangle, but also to be fair, on Ranked Ladder too, I've seen Hero a lot this season. Not surprising since they've had that recent wave of support. Alright, now here we got a playset of Duelist Genesis, or not a playset, but we have two of them in our hand. We are rocking a playset in our deck here. They're going to lead with Rhoda for Stratos. Note that I did not use Ash Blossom on the Rhoda, the reinforcement of the army. I don't think it's really ever right to Ash Blossom Rhoda. Any deck that's playing it will always search again later in the turn. Now, even though we stopped the Stratos search, our opponent's going to drop a Fusion Destiny from hand, summon the DPE, the Destiny Phoenix Enforcer. They're going to set two cards, then activate the Malicious effect before passing over to us. Interesting. Okay. Let's draw for turn here. We got a Q to join our Rotary. We're going to activate the Rotary, reveal Q, normal summon Cool Tune Q, and then activate. They're going to chain Forbidden Droplet, sending the Fusion Destiny that's left over in their hand. Totally fine with me. I don't care about this at all, because we already have the Rotary in hand. So we can simply tune the Rotary and the Q. And now here is our Trackmaker. Q gets to activate, so does Trackmaker. And we can also use Rotary to place a card from the graveyard on bottom of the deck as well. They're going to chain Phoenix Enforcer, which is super fine with me, because even though they just popped their Mally, I can just now use Rhoda to put the Mally back, hugely hindering any amount of follow-up they could have. We're going to add JJ Cool Tune, look at the top cards of their deck, banish the Miracle Ejector, leave Fuwalos on top. Now here's Duelist Genesis to search for Synchro Overtake. Synchro Overtake gets to activate, revealing RS for Rekko, and our opponent's going to concede, because their fate is pretty inevitable at this point. All they have left is one face down card, and here I can go Rekko, add Mix, activate JJ Cool Tune, extra normal summon Mix. Mix can search up another Cool Tune monster, maybe even just another Rekko. And then, yeah, I mean, like I said, we have tons of plays from there, because we also have the Cool Tune Synchro as well. Another game that just showcases how strong, disgustingly so, this deck is in this event. Okay, so here is my list for the Dual Triangle event for Cool Tune. It's really not that different in the grand scheme of things from the ladder list. Of course, the extra deck is going to be all Synchro monsters, which really just means we're not playing Typhone or Little Knight. Instead, I'm playing like second back-to-back, 3 copies of Remix and Trackmaker. Stuff that you wouldn't normally always need to do in a regular build, but again, since we're on all Synchro monsters anyway, we have the room, and why not? Obviously, one of the biggest differences in the main deck is going to be, oh yeah, Clip was semi-limited. Not really that big of a deal. Obviously, Crackle is not here. And then Rotary at 1 is definitely, like I said before, the most notable hit. And I kind of think that if they want to hit Cool Tune in the future, which I think they're assuredly going to do, Rotary to 1 might not be that bad of a call. I don't think that alone would necessarily be enough. I think they'd probably have to limit something else, although we did also see Synchro Overtake getting limited here in the near future. But Rotary is really one of the linchpins of the Cool Tune strategy. I mean, just look at the difference between how the deck performs, you know, in the TCG and OCG right now, with one of the main differences being that Rotary isn't out in the TCG yet, meaning that, you know, with only Wave 1, Cool Tune is like maybe a Tier 3 deck. While the second wave does also include Crackle and Back-to-Back, I really do think that it is Rotary that really makes the difference here. So a limit to Rotary I could see happening for the actual ban list at some point in the future. Possibly a limit to Cool Tune Synchro as well. It would kind of contradict the activating 2 per turn, but at the same time, being able to use 2 of these per turn is extremely strong. Maybe if you really want to hit consistency, you could do Recco or Q limit as well. We'll see what happens in the future. Now, for this build, we're on a full playset of Duelist Genesis, mostly because we're not able to play stuff like Call By or Crossout, so I decided to just add some consistency buffing cards, as well as a couple of copies of Delta, which were in my initial build, but with Synchro Overtake about to get limited very soon, I think we're going to see a lot more copies of Duelist Genesis in Cool Tune decks. This card can of course not only search Synchro Overtake, but Cool Tune Synchro as well. Alright, anything else I want to say about the build for now? I don't really think so. Like I said, this deck ends up playing very similarly in the event as it does on Ranked Ladder, which again is a pretty huge bummer to me personally, but at the same time, I'm going to get my gems and get out, so I will take advantage of it for sure. But yeah, I think it's going to go ahead and do it for now. Thank you, as always, for watching, especially all the way to the end. Super appreciate that. It really does help support the channel. But for the time being, we're going to go ahead and sign out. Before we do, though, we have to make sure that we give an extra special thank you to our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.